Okay, so this is a pretty exciting part of the whole event. We are going to be doing holding you the better, your best, not competition, I guess, but the interviews. So I know there's a lot of new people in the room, so just kind of so you understand why we do this. Why do we give away a car? Because I can tell you, it's not getting us any kind of press. You don't see the news media here. In fact, it's very hurtful that our industry doesn't even mention this. We've given away 9 cars, and I know, that is amazing. And, but that's just, to me, that's really not the heart and soul, and it's an exciting part. But really, the reason we do this and the reason we implemented the campaign or the contest was because I know that anything measured will improve, and anything measured and reported upon will improve exponentially. And I've heard every year that we've done this from the people who participate, that taking the time to document what they did and look at their growth year over year and how they got there and the marketing, sales strategies, and business strategies they implemented was an exercise that was invaluable to them. Because most of the time as entrepreneurs, we're constantly running towards the horizon. But what happens when you run towards the horizon? It moves. It's always moving. And so we often never take time to stop and turn around and look at how far we've come. And that's why we do the contest. It's one of the reasons we want people to measure what they do. The second reason is we want to acknowledge some of the members, some of you, and there's a lot of you out here that are just badass. Really, you're doing great things in business. You're helping people. You're profitable. You are the backbone of America. We as small business owners really, truly are the backbone of America. And it is incredibly difficult to be in business and to hire people, manage people, marketing, all the things that we have to do to make a business run and be profitable and successful. And one of the reasons we do this contest is because we want to give some recognition to those of you who are stepping up every day and getting no love, no appreciation, no recognition at home. So that's the other reason. And then the final reason we do it is because a lot of the newbies in the room, I know part of you're sitting there and going, you came to boot camp, but you're skeptical. Does this stuff really work? Is this like a get-rich-quick thing? Am I going to be asked to drink Kool-Aid later on tonight? What is this thing, right? And I understand it, but it's also so that the stories of these people that you're about to hear from are here to inspire those of you who might be in the thick of it right now, things not working, you're struggling, you're concerned, worried, anxious. Wherever you are, this is to kind of provide a ray of hope, that, hey, there is a light at the end of the tunnel and it's not an oncoming train kind of thing, right? So that's why we do the contest. Now, we decided to do it a little different this year. So every year, up until this year, we always had the contestants come up on stage and just deliver their presentation. And I decided to do it a little bit different this year. Jeff and I talked to our Producers Club captains, and they agreed with us that this would be a better format, and that is an interview format. It sort of levels the playing field in the sense that, some people are really, really good presenters. They can stand up in front of this audience and not feel nervous, and they can sing and dance and deliver amazing presentations, but there's a lot of you out there that can't do that, but you're doing awesome stuff in business. So I didn't want this just to be where if you were really good on stage, you had a better chance of winning. I want it to really be about those who are implementing and doing the inchworm, if you will, like Mont said, selling and then catching up and selling it as quickly as they can. And so we decided to change the format to an interview style, and that's what you're going to see. The other thing, everyone needs to go to the Better Your Best tabs in your workbook. Please open that right now. All right, so there is a tab that has Better Your Best. And you're going to see it's kind of hard to show, this page, on one side there's recognition to Jay, who was last year's winner, and on the other side you are going to see the names and pictures of the people who are going to be brought up here. Please have this in front of you because you're going to be asked to vote, and the audience vote carries a lot of weight. So I want you to be making notes. This is your copy to keep. We will not collect this. So please make notes on this as you listen to the presentations. Does everyone have that? Yes? Okay. Now, when they're all finished, we are going to give you the numbers so you can text your vote. All right. We're trying to go a little more paperless, save a few trees. Now, here's the deal. When we give the text numbers, at the very end, guys, be honest, all right? None of this calling up cheap labor in, somewhere in India and getting 1 million people to text their vote, right? None of that. In fact, if we see any of that, it could act as a disqualification for the person. So please do not scam this. 1 vote per person. And the virtual people, you can vote as well, 1 vote per person. So I know if somebody's watching at home and your boss is on the stage and you're like, okay, we're going to get all my family and friends and everybody to don't do it. We will know if there's any kind of tomfoolery going on, and it's not going to help your contestant win. But everybody have this up, so we're good because we're going to ask you to vote, and of course we're accepting new members into the Producers Club, and these are all Producers Club members. So this might kind of you might be thinking about that as well. All right. So, with no further ado,
first up, hailing from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, with 5 times revenue, 11 times monthly recurring revenue growth in his business over the last 3 years, Jason Abel, CEO of Intermix IT.
All right, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, give him a round of applause. So there's the numbers, and with every contestant comes up, we're going to show you their vitals up here on the screen. So you had increased revenue from $250,000 to $1.3 million. Yeah. And managed recurring revenue from $7,000 a month to $87,000 a month, and did that in 3 years. Pretty amazing.
Yeah. It's been it's definitely been a trip. I mean, it's been a lot of hard work, and really, I look up at those numbers, and I think 24 months ago, we were sitting at the back of the room, and we had no idea what we were going to do to turn the ship around. And what those numbers don't show you is the 4, 5, 6 years previous when we were stagnant at we could barely hit $250K in revenue, and we're talking $7K MRRs.
How long were you at that?
We were there. We adopted managed services around 2008, and up until late 2013, early 2014, we were stagnant. It was hard for us to break $250,000, and I think we got our MRR up to about $11K. But at the same time, closing deals, it was difficult. It was real difficult for us. We didn't know how to take our business to the next level. And when you're stagnant like that for so long, you can really kind of get to a dark place, right?
And
a dark place in your business.
You lose hope. You think it's not possible, right?
You do. Yeah. You're pissed off. You don't make any money. You don't know what to do to turn the ship around, and it bleeds into your personal a little bit,
Yeah.
And there comes a time, I think, when you get to that point where you have to decide you have to make a change. You have to decide something has to change because it's not going to change itself. You have to decide you have to make a change somewhere. And for us, the biggest change was, it was 2014. It was actually boot camp 2014. We maxed out the last remaining part of our credit card to come down here. And we came down here, and we were hell bent on turning the ship around because we had to do something. The hardest part for us was making the decision that we needed to change and to find out it wasn't going to change itself. And we joined the Producers Club, and that was a big step for us. Financially, that was a really big step for us because at that point in time, I didn't know how we were going to afford it, but we knew we had to. We got linked up with our accountability group, and I'm literally so fortunate to be hooked up with these guys. They were the people that pulled kind of me personally out of that dark hole.
Out of the muck.
Yeah, really. And we all instantly clicked. And I knew that these guys were ready to go. The first 6 to 8 months, the sheer amount of nuggets and the amount of ideas that we got. I mean, we implemented everything. I mean, everything, it was implement. And, you know, we finally, we committed to our sales and marketing, which was something that we didn't do before. I mean, we've actually been with you since around 2008, 2009. We drop out, come back, drop out, come back. And so there wasn't a whole lot of commitment there, and nothing was consistent. So, I mean, that was a big thing for us to do that. We knew we had to, you know. And when you finally decide to kind of make that change, we knew we had to also put processes in place. We had to implement process and really worked on that as well. I always had this envision of this, what I would call kind of this luxury IT, MSP, luxury MSP, where we really wanted to focus on catering towards the larger clients, the higher MRR, more quality clients, because I mean, we had what I feel was an okay amount of clients, but they were very low dollar clients. They were very low profit, low dollar MRR clients and small, and we really wanted to change that. And I kind of go into our rebranding into that luxury model in the handout that we'll talk about.
Okay, so you do have a handout?
I do.
You guys are going to be showing that. So is that your cash in the bank idea?
It is, yeah.
All right,
absolutely.
so so one thing I just want to make sure, I'm going to ask each one of these, what's like one idea that really transformed your business? So go ahead, let's talk about that.
Well, I mean, it's, when I was putting this together, it was, and as you just said before, I had the opportunity to really go back and take a step back and look at everything that we've done the last couple of years. And the big thing that I found out is there really wasn't one thing that we did that made a change for us. Right. Our mindset was huge. Changing our mindset and getting out of that, you know, dark hole, as I call it, was really big for us. So what I decided to do when I was going back is to create what we're calling our $800,000 a year sales and marketing playbook.
Nice.
And we base it off our best year, which was last year, 2015. And what I did was it's a high-level overview of different marketing campaigns that we did. It talks a little bit about the branding and our focus to create that luxury style MSP.
Is this an internal or external document?
This is external. These guys should all have access to this.
But I mean, like are you giving this to customers, or are you?
No.
This is just for you internally.
Yeah,
okay,
this is just internally. I wanted to share it with you guys in hopes that maybe you would take one thing out of it, whether it's a campaign, how we implemented something, or a different idea. But it is a high-level overview of a lot of things we did in 2015. It goes into how we kind of rechanged our brand up, why we chose to change our brand up, and what we did to change that. Another thing that I did literally is I created a sales process, and I know some of you guys don't have a documented sales process. I think some of you guys may be winging it now. I flow charted literally out the entire sales process, and I don't know if you guys can pan this up, but it's going in a PDF.
Is that on the? Well, look, guys, everybody, all these, you're going to get this as a PDF for you to download. So it's pretty cool.
I go into a little bit of
yeah. Go ahead, you can applaud that. That's awesome.
I go into a little bit of detail about why we chose this type of sales process, but literally, guys, it's flow charted off from incoming lead all the way through qualification, all the way to hand off to your onboarding team. So if you guys are winging this is an awesome soup starter. Implement it. It also goes into a little bit about how we deliver our action plan. It's got an example action plan that we use and how we deliver it through our sales process. But I mean, there's a whole lot of information here that, again, if you guys can just take one piece of it home and implement, whether it's a mindset, man, that's awesome. So I really hope you guys do that. For us, documentation and the process part of it has been really big for us. Setting processes, written processes, both internal for ops and sales and marketing, has really streamlined a lot of things for us.
So it's a little off topic, but what about lead generation? What's been the best lead generator for you? Has there been one or two things? I know we don't have a lot of time, but just...
Sure. I mean, the lead generation for us has been, as long as we stay consistent, our website has been really big for us. We've really started to get a lot of web traffic where before we didn't, and it's a lot of organic traffic. But being really consistent in our campaigns and consistent in our drips, those have, in the follow-up process to that. I mean, previous, we would send out a bunch of stuff and we wouldn't follow up with it. We just hope someone would fax back the form or call us in. So really staying consistent has been huge. And we ran a lot of 3-step campaigns. We read The Bad Date and The Godfather into session literally all year. We stayed committed to our drips. So every month our newsletter goes out, our postcard goes out. So I think really that consistency.
Just that consistent, always implementing and executing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's been huge for us.
So I know you mentioned that you started out a few years, you were small, 250,000, and you're stuck 4 years at that point. And I know there's some people in the audience that are probably in that same position. They're stuck. They've lost hope. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, no joke. Business is tough. Managed services are tough. I think when you get to that place, and I think some people might be there or here, and you're at that where you're upset. You don't want to go to work. You wonder why you're even here and why you're even doing that. The hardest part is making the change. The hardest part is decided that something has to change and that change just won't happen. I think really, once you decide to make that change, you have to find your people, right? You have to find your VIPs, you have to find your Jedi Knights,
Right.
And you have to find people that'll lift you up, whether it's a friend, family, accountability group, but people that you can lean on that can really help you pull through it and to get those nuggets of information.
So there you go.
Yeah, those are my guys right there. I mean, I'll be honest with you, without those guys, I'm really not quite sure I'd be up here.
Okay.
I mean, my family, my accountability group, my employees, everybody had a hand in really helping us out in such small amount of time that we did it. But you have to get your mind right. I mean, it's all about that mindset. You cannot run a successful business when you're upset and you're negative and you don't like where you're at. You have to make that change. And
just get around positive people who will believe in you, encourage you.
I mean, everyone's in a room right now. I mean, I remember in the boot camp of 2014, it was our first boot camp, and it was so eye-opening to see even the Better Your Best finalists. But everybody in the room, for me, it was extremely eye-opening to say, look, these guys can do it. I mean, why can't I?
Right.
And once we joined the Producers Club, I mean, it was a complete change in mindset for me, a complete change in mindset. I mean, I'm happy. I wake up so excited. It's amazing when you have a plan and you implement how things just start happening, and you get so excited. And for me personally, I get so excited to just see what's next, to see what's going to happen.
Cool. All right. We got about a minute or so left. Any other words of wisdom for the people?
I mean, I think the main. I think everyone here, and you guys have probably always heard this. You guys all have the tools to be great, to do this whole thing that we call managed services. And the people that haven't quite bought into it and don't have that, I mean, the Producers Club, your accountability group, it's the perfect place to start. I mean, it's where so much information comes, and don't give up. I mean, we hit the wall so many times, and I sometimes look back and go, why the hell didn't we quit? I mean, when you're making literally under $30,000 a year, I mean, that's what I was making for the longest time.
Wow.
I can go to Lowe's and make that, and
Yeah.
I would have no stress,
Right.
And I'm serious, and you hit that wall and you just get right back up and go, and that's what we did. And you surround yourself with those positive people, and the ideas come, and you will get inspired again. You have to find that inspiration. And I feel like, and maybe I've hit that kind of rock bottom, and I think sometimes some people have to hit that in order to be able to bounce back up, to appreciate the positivity that comes your way. And I can't say enough about my team, man. Those guys are my accountability group, my employees, my business partner. They've been through hell and back with me. So, I mean, I just appreciate everything they've done.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Well done. All right. It's going to be tough this year. All right. So next up, Dave Johnson.
Profits increased 535% over the last year alone. So please welcome Dave, 535% Johnson, CEO of Portland Managed Services.
All right. Bye. That's like a new nickname for you, isn't it, right?
Yeah, I got a lot of them, but I'll take that one.
So, okay, so let's start there. 535% increase in profit.
Profit.
Because we always say top lines for vanity, bottom lines for sanity, right?
Exactly.
So talk about that.
Well, that was really the key for us, was just that, the drip of you repeating these things, and eventually you wake up and you go, this is what my world's got to be.
Right.
And that was for us, was that I think everybody in this room struggles on a daily basis to make ends meet, to grow your business, meet all these challenges and stuff. And it's all fun, but at the end of the year, when you got no money, it's really, really hard to stay motivated. You get to
Yeah.
the point where you say, why am I doing this?
Exactly.
Right? So, Jeff, you can put up this next slide. This is a slide that's just full disclosure. This is kind of where we were. So this is the past 3 years. So 2013, and that was a year of reaching into our own pockets to pay payroll. I mean, how many people out there have
So
done
you were
that?
you were negative. In case
Yeah,
you
we
can't see
lost-
this, $533. So
Yeah, we
that's-
lost money, right? On $861,000 in business. So a lot of effort. And that was really a turnaround year for us, was just deciding we got to do something different, because we've been doing business for 25 years and you just can't do that. So the next year I spent just building the business, right? I was just totally eating the whatever and focusing on growing the top line. And that's when it kicked in. It's like, that's great, but still, okay, so $39,000 is a lot more than negative 533, but still it's not enough to retire on, right? Let's face it. So having that volume then and going in and saying, okay, so what can we do with this? And just this harkens to what we were talking about earlier today, which was that 10% rule or 15% rule of we've got enough business here, so I don't need to go out and do what I did that year, which was a ton of work to get to that amount, right? I need to go and mine what I've got now. And so it's the oil wells,
Business
it's the pumpkin
development,
plan, it's
yeah.
the focusing on those customers. But the challenge we had was a marketing one as well, was that all marketing that I was doing, for better or worse, got us to there. But I couldn't do everything like everybody tries to do, right? Like the previous speaker said, we're control freaks, right? So it was step one is two-pronged approach. One was getting a person in who could actually do the marketing on a consistent basis.
So you hired a marketing
Hired a
manager
marketing manager, an office manager, Paula, who takes care of everything, right?
and an office manager?
Yeah, she's the same person.
So- okay,
Yeah,
so
same
it's-
person.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so handing that off to her, trusting her, kind of just keeping an eye on it, and then letting her run with that. And that freed me up to go out and talk to the customers and to create that really simple matrix of here's what we offer, here are our customers, put the X's in, now where are the holes, go fill the holes, right? And so that was, you can see the difference between those 2 years, 1.1 to 1.2, that's not a lot of money,
No.
right? So it's not a lot of effort to go out there and spend that money, do the consistent stuff. It was a matter of going and getting the best money we can back out of those customers, and also really serving those customers, because when you get to that point, somebody mentioned about $1 million, you get to that point, there are these challenges, and you've got too many kids. You can't serve them all, right? So you'll start to lose them, and that really sucks, because now you
Right.
got to go out on an emergent basis and get another one, and that costs money and is full of risk. So
Yeah, okay. Did you fire clients in there? Or
we
was
did, yeah. Maybe go to the next slide, Jeff. This is, and all these, what you see here is going to be uploaded onto the portal, so you guys can download it, and it's got my number. You can call me if you've got questions. But this is what I call this is my profit tracker spreadsheet, and it's like so simple a cave person can use this, right? I'm not a math whiz by any means, right? So it's small up there, sorry about that, but it's basically what are your costs, right? So your RMM tools and so forth, and this is on a per customer basis, right?
Okay.
So each sheet is a customer. So what are your costs? How many units of whatever it is that your cost is are you using? And how much revenue are you generating? So what's your managed services? We're an all-in 3-year agreement company, right? So the only other revenue we've got is we do some project work that I consider that cream on top, right? So you plug your numbers into this, and at the end of the day, or at the end of the sheet, you look and you take out your revenue numbers, and you see, am I making money with this customer? Because when we did the firing piece, right?
Right.
Two things we want to do. We want to get rid of the customers who are not good for us, and then we wanted to go after better customers. So that all
So
came
it was
from
the part and parcel?
yeah,
just
you can't do
yeah.
just one or the other. You got to get rid of the stuff that's weighing you down. But it was really hard. So it's like, well, that's a great customer. Well, what does great mean? Great means the customer who, at the end of the month, you end up with $5,000 of net profit.
Exactly.
Right, that's a great customer.
Yeah.
The customer who
Right.
is your best friend and goes to lunch with you, that's not a great
That's
customer.
yeah.
So this sheet is great because it's dumb simple. I can understand it. And we look at it at the end of each month and we go, yeah, let's focus more on this customer. We got to work on this customer. This one has to get up to here or they got to go away.
Perfect,
Right?
yes.
So it's just, it's not It's
Right.
great.
So what's one cash in the bank? Like what's one idea you can share with the audience that really will make that cash register ring for them?
The best thing that we did was to determine who do we want to have as customers, right? Before it was if you got a heartbeat and a wallet, you're a customer, right? So
Right.
come on board, it's all good. What we wanted to do was to focus on what size do we want, what kind of revenue do we want, what kind of target market do we want, and just not be so frenetic about, get the business, get the
Right.
business, get the good business. So we can go to the next sheet. We went and created a methodology. I mean, you look out here at these people didn't all just stumble in here from the street. You have a methodology, right?
Yes.
As to how you get people to come in here, pay you money, and then stay for 9 years.
I think some
right?
did stumble off into the street.
They could be.
Well, that's
It's
okay.
like a little- So again, this is small, but the stuff's up there. You can download it and take a look at it. But it's a methodology that we follow from the first time a call comes in. Everything is marketing, right? It's not just the campaigns that you send out or the newsletter.
It's all the way through.
It's every single touch point. When the phone rings at our office, it's answered by Paula, and she's got a great voice and personality, and she talks to the person, and she pre-screens them, and she knows what we're looking for, she knows what we're not looking for, right? So you go through that process, and we send out, if they get to me, I talk to them. If they look like they're qualified, I do the things you talk about. I remove speed bumps, right? So one speed bump is what? Price. Everybody wants to know how much, and they want to know right away. So I volunteer that. How many workstations do you have? How many servers do you have? Blah, blah, blah. Get some information.
Right up the front. Right up
And I
front,
go,
right.
let me just get this right on the table. I said, basically, the numbers we're talking about are going to be around here, right? And I don't know if our business is not for everybody. This is one of your things. It's not for everybody in the room here, and I understand that, right? It's beautiful. Say that to them. It's not for everybody. So it gives them an out, right? And they can self-select, right? The number is going to be around this, plus or minus, but really once we get together, I'll have a better understanding. I'll be able to give you an actual number,
So you're
right?
giving that on the phone before you even go out?
Absolutely, because there's just no point in holding that up in suspense, and that's going to be either, that's in my budget, or no way in hell. And we've had people go and say, well, I thought your $3,000 thing was going to be $300. Well,
Right.
you thought wrong. It's not, right?
Right.
So I don't go out on those appointments, right? So streamlining the process, because there's no end of time wasters out there. So how do we get to really good people? And we follow this process, and we send out the shock and awe, and that's all online too as well. Simple thing, it takes 10 minutes to print one of these things out, send it out, follow what Robin says to do. It goes out, but one of the things that we did that was really the magic, and if you guys take nothing else away today, this is the one thing, is to get your customers to sell for you, right? You've all got great customers who would do anything for you. Go to those customers, talk to them, tell them that part of your marketing strategy is to use your existing customers who are happy with you to grow your business. And by growing your business, it benefits everybody. Rising tide floats all boats. So get them on board to be there, answer the phone, and to talk to customers. So we give them 3 references, and part of the process is they're required to go through this, look at it, right? We can't tell whether they do or not, but we can tell if they call those references. So before Dave comes out, you're going to have 3 references. We'd like you to call them. We'd like you to talk to them about anything. You got carte blanche. Talk to them about anything that you want to about what we do to make sure that we're a good fit for you.
So you get them to call, a prospect to call existing customers before you even walk in the door.
Exactly.
That's brilliant.
So
That's really good.
So we set a date, right? Set a date, here's the date. So 2 days before that date happens, Paula calls the customer, confirms the appointment, says it's time to, did you look at this? Yeah, we did. Okay, did you call the customers? God, I've been busy. We haven't had a chance to call the customers, right? Now, you people are going to think I'm crazy in a minute, but that's all right.
You delay the sale. You
Well,
push
right,
them
exactly.
back.
So she goes and she reschedules. She says, I totally understand everybody's busy, so why don't we go ahead and schedule for whatever, 3 days later? I'll give you a call to follow up, but go ahead and call those customers, right? So she calls again. If they don't call those customers, the appointment's canceled and I never go out. I don't care how big the opportunity is. If they're not willing to put that little bit of skin in the game, then they're not going to be a good customer. They're not serious. They're going to kick tires. They're going to ask me, how much is it per seat? They're going to waste my damn time. Those who do call, talk to those customers. And when I walk in the door, they know from the picture, they know what I look like. They know about my business. I don't have to go through any of this stuff. So
This
all
is in
that
your
stuff's
shock and
done.
all, too,
It's all in
right?
the shock and
Okay.
all, right, yeah. And again, you can download it. So all that stuff's done, But now they've got this mindset where my customers have said, look, I've been working with this guy for 10 years, and you'd be an idiot not to work with him, right? I mean, when I come in the door, they're ready to do business. And I walk in the door with one thing in mind. It's Tom Hopkins, right? Your pen is your friend, right?
Right.
So bring a pen, bring something for them to sign, right? When I talked to them the very first time on the phone, I explained what our process is, and I explained it at the end of that first meeting. If they're good for me and I'm good for them, and it's a bidirectional thing, then we're going to have an agreement that I'm going to ask them to approve to do some work for them, right? And so when I come in, they're not going, I wonder how this is going to end. They know it's going to end. I'm going to have a piece of paper for them to sign, and if it's a good fit, then they're going to sign, and if it's not, we're going to shake hands, and that's the way it goes, right?
Right.
So laying all that stuff out up front instead of just showing up and hoping that it's all going to be good, that's the way to go.
Okay, and so all this is up online, guys. You can download this and go through it in greater detail. Now, I know you've been a Producers Club member since 2011.
Right.
Right?
In 2009, I think, yeah.
Well, I think you've been maybe a member since 2009,
Yeah,
but
right,
Producers
right.
Club,
Producers Club, yes, yeah.
2011. So what's the one thing that you've discovered over that time that's really led to phenomenal results for you?
I hate to be redundant from the previous gentleman's great presentation, but it's everything that everybody needs to be successful in their business is in this room. So people in the back who are newbies, welcome, this is great. Everybody who's been here knows if you've got a problem, somebody else or 100 people or 50 people in this room have had that problem. It's a matter of coming here, talking to people, being friendly, listening, learning, applying what you have learned, actually doing it, that's the thing, and then measuring the results, right? And that's why that Adobe spreadsheet comes in. It's like, without that measurement, I have no idea. I look at that and I know that I'm doing good or I'm doing bad, right? So it's this group and everything that you deliver. So.
Yeah, and people in the back, I mean, look, come up here and talk to the Producers Club members. I mean, I you know.
Come on down.
They're very open. You don't have to join. It's not like, oh, you're not a Producers Club member, I'm not going to talk to you. They'll talk to you, and it's, I think that's really key. All right, well, very good,
Yeah.
Dave. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good job. Good job. All right, thank you. All right, Elon.
From Miami, Florida, with nearly 1 million revenue increase last year. Please welcome Elon Shredney, nicknamed the Shredder, CEO of Palindrome Consulting.
Was that your idea?
Yeah.
Okay, so 920,000 plus in revenue. After being stagnant 6 years, you're not growing at all. So what the hell did you eat for breakfast that made that happen?
I realized what college was going to cost for my kids.
Okay. Right, okay.
It was a quick realization.
Exactly.
Real quick, before I get started, I want to express how thankful I am for being here, how honored I am, and what a special group it is to be with these other 6 finalists.
Yeah, they're rock stars.
I'm not any different than anybody else in this room, except that I made a decision to change my mindset. Not too many years ago, just like the other 2 speakers, I was in the back of the room. Then I moved up to the front of the room. But we remained very similar to an 11-year-old girl, flat. We had 9 employees, no marketing manager. We had big dreams, big hopes, but no plans. It really was the crossroads.
Right.
My parents are getting older. I'm an immigrant to the country. My parents were immigrants.
Right.
We realized that our older children were coming of age to go to college. Tuition was going to be hefty,
Right.
and something had to change. I took a step back. I realized that not only were all the tools at our fingertips and in this room, but that we simply were overwhelmed by all those tools. At the same time, I realized that there was one problem. It was me. I wanted to come to boot camp. I wanted to come to Producer Club meetings. I wanted to implement marketing. I wanted to do the follow-up phone calls. I wanted to do the sales. I wanted to do everything. I've got a big butt, but it can only be at one place at a time. There was no way for me to accomplish all of this. So I started to change the way that I handled marketing. The first thing I did was I took my part-time administrative assistant and I said, you're in charge of marketing. Then we did a marketing plan. Our marketing plan consisted, it was very simple. We're going to have a monthly newsletter. We're going to have a paper newsletter. We're going to send out a quarterly tech tip. And that's it. Well, at least having one, we were able to build from it.
Exactly. Right.
So we started to build on it. And we started to do the Godfather campaign and the Bad Date Letter and the Band-Aid and the Monkeys and the Peanuts
100, yeah,
and
yeah.
the Godfather and the Great 100. We started to do all those campaigns. But I realized quickly that I was living the definition of insanity, trying to do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result.
Exactly, right.
So I hired a salesperson. I must give kudos to one very special person who we asked in a accountability group meeting, when is the right time to hire a salesperson? And I'm sure everybody in this room has asked themselves that question at some point in time. The answer was simple, when you're ready to grow the business. Well, I was ready to grow the business. We hired a salesperson, we hired a second salesperson, we hired a third salesperson. They all got fired.
Right.
I realized that hiring a salesperson wasn't enough. It was hiring a successful salesperson, that requiring a sales manager, which I could become, and let them handle the sales. So I stepped away from the marketing and I stepped away from the sales, and guess what? Those oil machines started to develop. So now we started to develop these oil wells that you allude to all the time.
Right.
And before we know it, we've got 8, 9, 10 different oil wells delivering different types of leads. They're coming through paper, they're coming through email, they're coming through phone calls, they're coming through Google. Each one of these different oil wells was delivering a different type of lead.
Okay. So what's the cash in the bank idea? Is that one of the oil wells? Is that what you're going to be talking about? Okay.
It's not one of the oil wells per se, but it is related to one of the oil wells. Okay? So what happens is because of all these oil wells that we had, we actually changed the way that we were doing marketing in that instead of, again, feeling overwhelmed, we were not going to do a mailer to 5,000 people or 3,000 or 2,000. We got smaller chunks that we were able to manage. We focused on legal. We joined the local legal administrators group, and we started marketing to 100 people at a time. We started getting more and more and more leads. So our cash in the bank idea was that I had become very keen at the news because I became a speaker for Telemundo, the national Spanish newscast.
Okay.
So every time there was a new data breach, they would call me and they'd ask me to speak. So every time I would go out and speak, I would send out an email to all my prospects. Hey, we're going to be speaking, this and that. And I said, idiot, why aren't you marketing to these guys? So every time there was a data breach, we'd send out a data security mailer.
Okay.
Every time...
Like email or direct mail?
We did both.
Both, okay.
What we found actually with our audience, dealing in the legal specifically, is that the text messages with a personalization were very effective. So, Robin, we need to talk on the subject line.
Right.
I'm an expert at cutting and pasting your text messages, your text emails.
Right.
Very effective.
Okay.
Hurricane season's coming up. BDR campaign.
You're in Florida, so.
We're
yeah.
in Florida.
Yeah.
BDR campaign. So right after that, we started to really listen to what's going on, and the heartbeat of the industry was delivering these spot targeted marketing messages. Okay. We had one of our clients calls us that their building went out of power. They were out of power for 2 weeks. We grabbed everybody in our mailing list in that zip code and started marketing our cloud services to them right away.
So just capitalizing on news stories, what's relevant, what's happening, trends.
Hitting them while it's hot.
Right, I got it. Okay, so what's one piece of advice you have for the audience so that if they're sitting there and feeling overwhelmed, like you had mentioned, how do they get going?
So it's not one piece, and it's a little bit lengthier than that, but number one is paralysis by analysis. Stop analyzing so much and start doing. Then make sure that everyone in your company knows what's going on. Don't bite off more than you can chew. And then we develop these 5 Ds. that we go and we use for everything we do. Draw up a plan, deal with it promptly, delegate what you don't want to do, diagnose what happened, and discard whomever or whatever did not work.
Okay. And that's it.
And that's it.
Pretty simple. All right. Well, we've got a couple more minutes. Anything else that you want to share with the audience as far as like something you've done or?
Yes. So when we started really paying attention to our leads, our closing rate went to 50% of our general leads and 80% of those that we pitched.
When you said paying attention, what do you mean by paying attention?
So very similar to everybody in this room, if they had a heartbeat in a wallet, they were a prospect. We started qualifying them and very carefully qualifying them. Do they have a budget? Are they interested in managed services? Are they interested in keeping their equipment up to date? Are they interested in doing all the things that we talk about all the time? Mm-hmm. I used to be afraid to ask them any of these questions because God forbid they would not, purchase from us.
Right.
But when you start asking these questions, they start realizing that you're bringing more value to them because nobody else is asking all these questions. So by working with them and going through this process, you start discarding a lot of really, really C and D clients.
That you just know from the beginning, it's not worth wasting your time on.
They're the ones that will not page through ACH. They will not upgrade their hardware when they need to. They will run out of money somewhere around month 8 of a 36-month contract. So you have to do the work in advance in order to not be hampered by those pitfalls that when we're smaller companies, we end up falling into.
Right, you get into. All right, very good. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
Well done. Good job. All right. And then we've got Mr. Bill Ohms.
Fourth up, from West Lafayette, Indiana, 17 years of stagnation, and he's doubled business over the last 3 years. Welcome, Bill, the doubler, Ohms, CEO, BSS Consulting.
All right, welcome. So, doubled the business in 3 years. You were in business 17 years, really not, so all of a sudden, you're doubling, or you're growing fast. So what happened? What was the difference?
Really, it was only about 12 years, and then I joined Robbins.
Okay.
But during the first 5 years, I was coming back with all these great ideas. And I implemented the Robbins website, I did the newsletter, and I thought if I worked harder, I could get there. And probably over those 5 years, I increased about 20%. That 5 employees, it just was, I couldn't do it. And so really what really changed about 3 years ago was I hired that marketing guy. And then a year and a half ago, the sales guy. I realized I couldn't do it all. So I hired those 2 individuals, and that really propelled my marketing. And then they were bringing in leads, and I couldn't do all the sales. And getting the sales guy allowed me to work with him. And certainly we have the processes in place. We need to monitor what they're doing. But hiring those 2 people is really, and you preach that all the time, but hiring a marketing manager and I actually finally did it.
You finally did it, right. So just out of curiosity, there's some people that, even at the breaks, I've already had a number of people come to me and they're like, how do I get it all done? And I'm like, well, you need to hire somebody, right? And I can see that's not the advice they want. What was holding you back from hiring them? What do you think was it a fear? Was it purely fear? Or?
We think that all it takes is working harder because we know how to do it. Doing the same thing, just working harder is the best way. But, I had to break out and hire this marketing guy, which turns out to be my son, and hire a sales guy. That's like herding cats. How do you manage and do that? I know how to work with tech guys, and I know how they think. So it was just scary because it was somebody new. It was a different mindset. It was more people in the office. It was a bigger commitment when I was just hitting that ceiling. I had to take that leap of faith to really get out there, hire, and just trust in the program that it would work.
That it would work, right? So what's your big one cash in the bank idea that you're going to share with the audience?
Well, probably also around that time, I was in an accountability group with a couple here where our goal was to double our business in 2 to 3 years. So we were reading through a book called Double Double by Cameron Herold, and I put together my painted picture. So I just put this idea that in the future, my business was going to be this size, I'm going to have this many employees. This is what we're all about with our vision, our goals, our mission, kind of all these things we talked about all along the way of putting together your core values and who is your target client. I put that all in a document and shared it with my staff. And I said, this is where we're going. Mm-hmm. And so now we had some clear-cut goals. And without the goals, and so then we started using goals, and you have, the great place on the dashboard where we can put our KPIs. We have our annual goal, our KPIs to break down quarterly, what we're going to do weekly. We started doing that with our marketing. We implemented that 12-month plan. My salesperson, we have goals for him. It's the goals. We have to implement clear-cut goals. A saying I've heard at a TED Talk I went to recently was, the strength of a goal is more powerful than the fear of failure.
Okay, so just setting those specific goals, okay? So a lot of people say the toolkit doesn't work for them, and then they're going to say, well, how long does it take to see results? So what would you tell them?
It probably doesn't work. Unless you actually implement it. You got to walk into this technology marketing superstore, toolkit, and you pick something off the shelf, and there's just dozens of things to choose from. Whether it's a Valentine campaign or a bad date campaign. And then what happens is, so in the beginning, what I would do is go out and, I'd send out those, whether it was 50 or 100 campaign letters, and nobody would call. I forgot that I had to send out a second one and a third one, or I had to actually follow up the calls. Mm-hmm. So really, you have to actually implement and follow through with it. And it just isn't, the same thing isn't for everybody. So I don't have to, if I don't believe in cloud, I'm not going to sell cloud. If I don't believe in doing managed firewalls, I won't do that. You have to pick what you believe in, and there's something in that superstore for you. Mm-hmm. And follow through with it. And in the back of that superstore is, the coffee shop. Go network with the rest of us here. There's great ideas on pricing and what to market. And if you're into cloud or if you're into other things, there's somebody here that's doing that. You got to get involved with the Producers Club and the accountability groups. You have to actually implement it.
Mm-hmm. Now, we've got a little bit of time, so I want to know from you, you've been a client for a long time, you've done a lot of the different marketing campaigns, so if you had to pick one that really has worked for you the best, consistent, what has it been? A specific campaign? It's
really been the Bad Day campaign.
Okay.
We have tried to do that about 25 a month, so it's not a huge number, but we're doing seminars and we're doing other things. But we have this oil well where we're just continually sending out the Bad Day campaign to clients. Probably right alongside that, we don't just send it to a cold list. So really kind of a step back is our networking. The networking we do with the chamber, that's where we actually get most of our leads, and then we market the Bad Date to those leads.
So you're doing a lot of referral, networking, meeting people, making sure you're being really diligent to put them into a database.
Correct.
Then run them through the Bad Date campaign.
That is correct.
Okay.
Again, the chamber, the BNI, we're part of some other professional groups that our clients are part of, like a builders association. Mm-hmm. And so we go to their events, and then we're gathering these names. And Benoit, many of you know my sales guy, Benoit. He's great at being friends with everybody in the relationship. And now that we have that relationship, when we start marketing the Bad Date letter to them, it just,
The
you know,
response
just,
is a whole different,
Oh,
and then
it's-
he's following up with them and.
oh, correct.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got to do the whole work. So, you know, we can go through a long list of things you got to follow up with the emails, you got to follow up with the calls, send the second and the third letter. You know, it's a process. You got to follow your processes, and they're so well laid out. You know, every once in a while, depending on your market or your personality, we may change small things.
Sure.
But there's very little that you want to change in those processes that you have laid out.
What are you using for a CRM to automate that? The 25 and the follow-ups and the emails and all that?
We're pretty much doing everything in ConnectWise.
So you're just using ConnectWise?
So we're
okay.
following through, once they become a lead, that he's met them in a networking group or they've responded to something, we put them in ConnectWise, and then we start following things all through ConnectWise.
Okay. And how much, just doing that 25 a month estimate, like with the bad date campaign, how much revenue would you estimate, new clients, that's generated for you?
We are probably getting a response about 1 out of every 50 that we do.
Okay.
So it's about 1 out of every 50. And my average MRR client is somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 a month.
Okay. So when you say getting one, you mean one client?
1 MRR client.
Okay. So not that's the response.
Oh, yeah,
is
that's all the way through. Yeah,
Okay,
so,
all right.
As far as leads go, it's probably about 3 or 4 leads. So your
That's great.
25% close number is real close to
It's
what
close
we're getting to.
Yeah. Okay. So really good. Okay. Excellent. Anything? I got a couple more minutes. Anything else you want to just sort of share or?
You know, I would like to encourage you again to find somebody to talk to here, because this is, you know, even before coming in here, I missed the last session talking to somebody, because it's just great sharing ideas. And I like being part of a freshman group. You know, my group is great because I'm re-energized all the time and finding new ideas. Even though I've been here for 8 years, you're always getting new ideas and things that maybe 2 months ago didn't apply, but today they do. So it's, you know, from how do I hire somebody to how do I implement this plan, or where do I purchase those darn monkeys?
No, right.
You know, it's just, you know, you got to come up with these things. So it's, you know, all the answers aren't necessarily on the dashboard, but there's somebody here that knows that.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, thank you, Bill. I appreciate
you.
it. All right.
Thank you.
Very good. So we're going to continue on. Again, make sure you're making notes, folks, so that you need to be, you're going to be asked to vote. We've got a couple more contestants here. So next up, let's bring Martin Joseph.
Number 5,
Yep.
joining us from Virginia Beach, Virginia. His company added $1.1 million in new revenues last year alone. Please welcome Martin, 1.1
All right.
Joseph,
All
CEO,
right. Come have a seat.
360 IT Partners.
All right. So 1.14 million in 1 year.
Absolutely.
Pretty amazing. So what
It
happened?
was.
How'd you do it?
Well, you know, it started with a great team.
Okay.
We had an incredible team that we put together, right?
Okay.
And so, you know, and I don't take this lightly when I tell you that if it weren't for having the ability to have a team, and I just want to let you know, I have a staff of 37 people on my team. And so we have the right systems and processes in place. We were really prepared. And, you know, when you combine that with building oil wells that you've taught us how to do,
Right.
it's just been the perfect formula for success, right? And so,
So were those 37, like, did you have them before you grew, or that's where you are today?
that's where we ended, you know, last year
Okay.
of 2015 was
Okay.
37 employees.
Okay.
And you know, quite frankly, we really, you know, if you take a look at, you know, the book, you know, Good to Great.
Yes.
It talks about putting the right people in the bus.
Yes.
You know, in the seat on the bus.
Absolutely.
And we did that, right? We had the right people in the bus. We have a great leadership team. You know, we have an incredible, you know, sales team that really is focused and getting the job done and closing, you know, any leads that come in that are qualified, very qualified leads.
Right. Because you did 156 appointments. So 156 appointments and 82 customers last year.
We did.
Isn't that pretty, that's badass, right? Come on. Because, you know, again, you know, I like to give you industry average. I mean, industry average is less than 12 a year. I mean, you know, so that's pretty awesome. So what's the one cash in the bank idea that you can share with the audience that will help them go back and add those customers or appointments? What's one thing they can do?
Okay, so
The
I knew you wanted to
surprise,
get to that
right?
right
I
away,
know.
right?
Jeff said, I
Yeah,
don't know
you
what
wanted
it
to just
is.
get to it right away.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can come back to the first question.
Oh,
too.
I'm
I
sorry.
love
Keep
that.
going. No, keep
are you
going.
sure?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
that's
keep
cool.
going. Yeah.
And so, you know what? So, honestly, once we had the team in place, then it's really about building quality customers, right?
Okay.
These quality customer relationships, and then also having great vendors, right? So Mont earlier was talking about,
Yeah.
having, great team, and then having great, customers and great vendors, and it really kind of all comes together,
Yeah.
right? But then, I really have to give your marketing a lot of the credit, okay? And, our number one lead generation tool, without a doubt, is our Rob and I's Pronto marketing website.
Okay.
It is amazing.
Right.
We get at least 12 to 20 new leads a month that come through our website.
Oh, right.
And these
Okay.
are all organic. It is pretty amazing. It's phenomenal for us. And then, once that lead comes in, it's a systemized process. It immediately goes to our sales team. We're following up with them, immediately. And, we're trying to qualify them. And if we feel like they're qualified, we'll set an appointment with them, right?
Right.
We'll set an appointment either just to get them on the phone and just really kind of figure it out and see if they're a fit for us. And then after that, we start with your Slippery Slope sales process, and we follow it to the T.
Okay.
We don't deviate from the formula because it really works well.
Okay.
And so we make it very clear right at the beginning of when we make contact with the customer that, listen, we want to make sure that we're a fit and you're a fit for us. And then if it does make sense, we just need to know that when it comes time for us to come in and make a proposal, that you're going to have the decision maker in the room. Because if that's not there, then we're both going to be wasting our time here.
Okay.
And so we make it very clear up front. And we also were very careful and selective about who we bring on as our new clients.
Right. Well, clearly you're doing a great job there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Do you want to get into your cash in the bank idea now?
Well,
or-
I want to talk a little bit more about some marketing that we do.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
I'll go for it.
All right. You really want this cash.
I really want to know what the hell this thing is because it's like Jeff has built this thing up and I'm like, all right, I'm dying. I haven't seen it. I want to know what it is. So, okay, go
We'll
ahead.
get to it. So anyway, you know what? After that, we really come in, and if we get the appointment, we're going to follow, the shock and awe email. We love the shock and awe email. It really sets us apart from our competitors.
Okay.
It really shows your level of professionalism, and that's really pretty amazing. And then, we'll do. They'll get printed newsletters. We've actually have gotten new clients as a result of printed newsletters.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
it's that good. The material is that good, and it really works for us.
Are you sending it out to all prospects then as well as your clients?
We are. So
Okay.
when we see a qualified prospect, we'll add them to our printed newsletter, as well as an e-newsletter as well. We have an electronic newsletter
Okay.
that Pronto Marketing does for us.
Okay.
And it works well.
Great.
We've done other campaigns, like the BDR campaign is really good, followed up by the 9-word email. And then, of course, our big cash in the bank was a Section 179 letter. Okay, that was the biggest thing that we did last year. We actually, in the month of December of 2015, we closed over $500,000 in revenue.
On that campaign?
Not necessarily specifically on that campaign, but we ended
That
the
was
month with top line revenue of over $500,000
Wow.
just in the month of December alone. Because that campaign was so effective, we have about 180,000 that we were able to bring in new hardware and software that was not previously there. And then the project work that followed was really a game changer. I'm telling you, you know what? We love project work because we can really see the net profit in our business really escalate.
Right.
It really goes well. So
Yeah.
that's a good step for us too.
Yeah. I know a lot of people say they don't like project work, but you love it, so that's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So last thing, and then we'll get to the kit.
I'm not saying
right?
anything now. I'm just going to let you drive, babe.
So you know what? I want to go back to my organization because you know what? We weren't always a 37-person company. We started really humbly. I started with nothing. You know what? I've had this business for 21 years and have built it from the ground up. And it's been like building a brick at a time. Okay. And so there was a point in probably the 2009, 2010. We started having some success, but before that, from 2000 to 2008, oh my gosh, it was just living from paycheck to paycheck. And, we had a small team, and then, we started to have some successes, and I met you, and you know, you really showed us how to deliver a managed services model. I'm really grateful for you for that. It's really a big deal. And so, you know, we've had amazing growth, and you know, our team today, it just looks, you know, way different. So I actually submitted an organizational chart to Jeff and asked him if he would be kind enough to post it out there for everyone to look at it. So if you're trying to understand, you know, what my organization looks like today, I would highly recommend, you know, taking a look at that org chart. Maybe it's something you could potentially model your business after.
Excellent. And so that your organization chart today, where do you think you're going to end this year?
We're on track to do 5 million.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
You know what?
All
I
right,
made it
great.
very clear to the team.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I made really right up front from the beginning of this year, I told the team, I said, team, you know what? I really want to grow this company, create opportunities for everyone here. And
You're all
together,
coming
when we
with
do
me,
that,
right,
you're all
yeah.
coming with me.
Right.
And you know what? They're incented because we give 10% of our gross profit back to our employees.
Okay.
Every month.
Oh, right.
As a
okay.
bonus, every month. And so they're incented for us to be profitable. So they definitely have buy-in. And
Is
that
that
really
all
works
employees?
well. Every employee, as long as they've been with me for a year,
Okay.
they qualify.
All right.
And
Wow.
that helps.
Okay, great.
So you want to hear that cash in the bank idea?
I do.
All right, I think Jeff has got a slide. He's gonna show
Okay,
you.
okay. Well, let's go to the slide. All right.
All right, so you see a proposal signing kit, right?
Wow,
So
look at that.
Here's the deal. Bribe them with alcohol, right?
Get them drunk and sell them something. I
You know
love
what?
it.
The picture's okay. Hold
Yeah,
on. I got something I want to show you. Hold on. a
Oh,
minute.
okay.
I'll be right back.
All right. Oh,
right.
I get one.
I got a Robin Robbins bag here.
Okay. You know what? If
Oh, look. Oh, what is this?
Wow.
Hold on. What is that,
Oh, it's
Robin?
Camus. This is like my
Ah.
absolute favorite. You know, from now on, it's going to get a little weird because I'm just going to start drinking now.
So little birdie told me that you love Camus.
I do.
In fact, I even saw the reference in your newsletter last.
I do.
You know what?
I love
you
it.
love Camus.
I
so
do, yes.
Enjoy that.
I will enjoy
And I
it. Thank
toasted you,
you.
and I put a personal note toasting you. So
All right. Well,
it's
thank
in there.
you.
So you know, I got to ask you to sign a proposal or hand me the keys to a Porsche or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
Right? I don't know. That might work out.
Should I open it?
Yeah, absolutely.
okay.
No, not the
Okay,
proposal.
okay, all right.
The note,
Well,
you can read the note
you know,
later.
okay, I'll read the
you can
later.
read the note
Okay,
later.
yeah.
But
all right.
But anyway, you know what? I actually have a documented process for you to do this. And really quickly, I just want to say, you know, this is the kind of thing that, you know, if you're about 90% there with your client and you know you're at the 1 yard line and you're pretty certain that they're going to sign, but for whatever reason they're busy or they just don't have enough time or focus on it, you know, talk to somebody on their staff and maybe understand, you know, what they like to drink. And then, you know what, this is a great opportunity. We've used this 3 times, and I've had a 100% close ratio every time.
This is great.
Within 3 days of handing them this kit, we've had a signed proposal back on our desk in the office. And
That's nice.
And it translated into $92,000 in revenue for us.
That's
just 3 times.
That's a good campaign.
Yeah.
So it's the proposal. So it's a copy of the contract, liquor.
Yep.
It's a handwritten note. That's a pen.
And then a really nice pen.
A really good pen,
Not,
yeah.
not a cheap pen. You can even use a decorative pen. So,
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Good.
Absolutely.
I like it. That's
Yep.
very cool.
Thank
I love
you.
it. All
Thank
right.
you.
So I know that you spend a lot of time developing strategic relationships locally in your business. So talk about how you're doing that and how that's fueling your business.
Yeah, that's huge for us. So, you know, you told me specifically, first of all, I got you your picture at the top because, you know what, I've got to give you a tremendous amount of credit for this because you told me specifically that if you want to become a subject matter expert in your community, you need to hire a PR firm.
Mm-hmm.
And we made that investment, a PR firm, and our PR firm is just absolutely incredible. And this is some of the awards they've gotten us. You know, we see Small Business of the Year, top 20 companies in our region, top 50 companies in the state of Virginia. We just received that award 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Inc. 5000, 3 years in a row. You know, Entrepreneurial Excellence, Virginia Value Veterans, MSP 501. You know, and these are getting us recognition. And then once we get that recognition, you know, we've got like news media calling. They want to ask us, you know, for our opinions about things. I'm being asked to be on panels. We're writing expert articles and we're being featured, and so it's really raising my status in the community,
Right.
you know, as the subject matter expert, and it's working out well. And then I'm really been able to leverage a lot of the boards that I'm a part of. You know, specifically like the Chamber of Commerce. I'm on the executive board, and I'm able to, you know, network with bank presidents and executives at Cox Communications and, you know, other industry, CEOs,
Right.
and it's just really a great networking opportunity. So this is part of community, and I'd certainly recommend leveraging it. Like, we're a big maritime area
Okay.
and where we live, and
Yep.
shipbuilding and repair. It's a big part of what we do. We get immersed in it. We get involved in it. We're being very public and visible there. And so it really is a winning formula for us. And so that last part is truly community and being part of a local community and being seen as a leader and a subject matter expert for your
Right.
community.
Yeah, I think that's excellent. I mean, and that's free, other than your time you put in, correct?
Oh my God. So our PR, we couldn't put a dollar amount on the amount of PR we get.
Right.
I mean, our community really thinks that we're everywhere. Like they literally think that we're everywhere, and they can't turn around without seeing our name or an award or just
hearing
something.
about you or
Yeah, and then
something.
finally it's our culture. Like we built an incredible culture of an amazing team of people, and they love to come to work. In fact, we got people coming to work on their day off because they miss being with their fellow coworkers.
Wow,
Right?
that's something amazing. Well, very good. Excellent.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you, Robin. Good to see you.
All right. Well done. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for my gift. All right. And then next up.
Sixth up, from Chicago, Illinois, and over the last 3 years, the company has increased monthly revenue from $21,451 to $247,894. That's 10 times. Joanna Sobrin, CEO of MXO Tech. 10X
All right.
Joanna.
Wow, what is this? That is a shock and awe. I would expect no less from you. I remember when you first started Producers Club, I think you were under 21,000, but 21,000 in managed recurring revenue to 247,000. Is that right? Is that a misprint? No, that's right, right?
That's right. That's right.
That's pretty amazing. So,
Thank you.
well done. Talk about that.
Okay, so I started a little over 3.5 years ago at Producers Club, and we were primarily break and fix. And so I had to, when I looked at all this marketing, the first thing I realized is that nothing that I'm doing really resonates with any of the marketing because it was all driven towards the monthly recurring business model. And so the first thing we had to do was commit to implementing that MSP model and putting a vision in place and figuring out what type of clients that we wanted to go after. So second thing was implementing a marketing plan and then starting with meeting with clients on a regular basis to sustain those customers. And so when we made that commitment to managed services, that it wasn't very easy because we had to eliminate some customers. Not every customer wanted to get on board, but if I was going to go all in, I was going to go all in.
Right.
So
Okay.
I lost about $112,000 in revenue in about 60 days from clients that said, I'm not going to get on board.
So you said that's all we're doing.
That's
Is that-
all we're doing.
And so you said
That's
if you're
it.
not going on managed services, we can't help you.
We can't help you. Because I knew that if I kept those clients, I couldn't achieve the bigger goal and the bigger vision that I wanted to have.
Got it.
And so I eliminated those clients. And that was really hard because my partner at the time, there was a lot of friction. How can you do that? What's going on? Are you crazy? But I knew that that's really what we have to do. So, and that focus, just so you know, kind of fast forward, it took us 7 years to get to 1.6 million, and then when we joined Producers Club, 3 years later, we're at 4.6 million in revenue.
That's good.
So our $112,000 loss,
That's good.
yeah, it was a $3 million gain. So sometimes you have to take that risk. And then we started implementing marketing. That was huge. Once we had that vision, we knew, okay, we could implement all this marketing that Robin offers. And it was literally boatloads of marketing. That's what it was.
There you go, boatloads okay.
This is the boat. And there's a lot of marketing involved. And so that did not happen over time, right? It took
Not overnight, right? It just sort of,
I mean, overnight, right, exactly. And remember, the reason why it took us 7 or 8 years to get to 1.6 million, we were all referral based. And so once we started implementing all this marketing, leads came in. And, was like, wow, okay, there's this systematic approach, and with a little science to it, actually brings in leads. And so we then had to implement a sales process, which I'll get into in just a second. But the important thing is, once we started getting those leads, and once we started growing and bringing in clients, I think we grew by like $1 million on the first year. It was big.
Yeah.
We had to make sure that we sustained the existing customers that we had. And that was key, because sometimes people are so focused on getting out there and going after new clients that they forget about their existing clients. And you can't grow if you don't have both, right?
Right.
So that was really the key for us,
Yeah,
is those three things: committing to the MSP model, or focus, or whatever it is that you want to focus on, implementing the marketing plan and sticking with it, and then taking care of your existing clients, because you do want to keep customers for life, because those customers, existing customers, are the best customers to help you grow your business.
I mean, that's what Mont said this morning.
That's
He's-
correct.
yeah, he said
Exactly.
it's-
Lifetime
oh, yeah.
customers.
Exactly.
Yep.
So what's your one cash in the bank idea that you can share with the audience?
So once we implemented all this marketing, and I mentioned leads started coming in, I had never seen anything like this before. I couldn't handle it, because I was the one and only salesperson, and I had like 7 or 8 people at the time when I joined. I was a very small company, and I knew that I needed to get some help, so I hired a marketing manager part-time. She's still part-time with us. And by the way, I implemented a lot of this marketing stuff myself first, then brought her on. I just didn't dump it on somebody. But what was really key was to implement a sales process. And I couldn't afford to bring in a high-paid salesperson. So I created this process, and the way I did it, and you'll see it here on the board, Robin has on her dashboard the slippery slope sales process. And I have a little rope around it, because I read it, and I thought, well, this isn't one of those things that, you read it and then you could just go do it. It's like there's one step, second step, and every step that you take, right? So the client gives you an objection, and you have a solution. The client has a business need, and you have a solution. Every step that goes along the way takes just a little bit of that rope. That's why I have a rope around it. And everything from meeting in your office, to sending them that shock and awe, to making that call, to building that relationship. So by the time you get to the end of the rope, you have built a relationship with that customer, and they want to do business with you. And what that did for us is, I remember there were times, I always ask a customer, why did you choose us over that other company that I think is actually great, and I thought they were going to go with them? And they said, you know what? Your sales process is so good that I know if I work with you, that's how your operations are going to be.
Yeah.
And people actually asked me to help them implement a sales process in their business. But the biggest thing about this was, going back to, I couldn't afford a salesperson. So by having this in place, it allowed me to move someone that was on our existing team as a project manager into the sales role. And I knew that if he followed everything, that we would be successful and make sales. And it wasn't just for him, it was for me too, because I forgot something. You know how it is. Sometimes you go on a sales meeting and
You got to have it documented so you don't forget a step.
Yeah, and every step has a purpose, and it's so important to have that in place. And finally, another key component to this was that we were able to weed out clients that we didn't want. Because halfway through this process, if a client wasn't willing to come to our office, or they saw what it would take to work with us, which was a true partnership, not just a vendor, they didn't want to work with us. They jumped off right away. But I would rather have that customer tell me no in the first 12 days than deal with them for 6 months, lose money, drag us down, so then I have to fire them like I did in the initial phase.
Right.
Right? So that was key.
Right, right, yeah. No, and I love this because again, you got to make sure that, like you said, even someone who's been doing it for a while, having
Yeah.
that process is key. So this is up on the. Is this something you're sharing with the audience?
Absolutely. This is what we're sharing. And in this boat, you'll see that a lot of these components are listed here. And Karen and George are here from our team. They can talk to you about it. You guys can come and take a look at any of this. You know, everything, every step has its place. And when you see, once we onboard a client, we have a really box that we send them with some chocolates telling them we're not going to let technology drive you nuts. We have you covered, and you'll
Right.
see there's nuts and chocolate covered nuts.
Yeah.
Different cute things. And that goes a long way. It's like, last night we were talking about the dust bunnies.
Okay.
It's just the little dust bunnies.
Yeah,
And
right.
people really appreciate it. Yeah.
It's so funny. Okay, so one other thing, because we got a little bit of time left. A lot of you might not know, but Joanna was born in Poland. She came to America when she was 11.
Yeah.
And did you speak English? You
No.
didn't speak any English.
No.
So talk about how you come to this country. You don't speak any English. Wow, that's so cute.
People ask me if I have perm. This is my curly hair, as you can see.
Yes. So how did you go from that to running a multi-million-dollar business, very successful?
Well, I did. I grew up in Poland when it was still communist, and my mother left, came to the U.S., and I was there with my father, and it took forever for me to come here. I have a brother and a sister as well, and so my brother and I kind of stuck there, waiting forever to get here. And once we did, I thought this was going to be the land of opportunity. As a child, I thought, like the unicorns and the clouds and butterflies and the roads are going to be paved with gold. And it was nothing like that. I got here, and I didn't know even what anybody was saying. I mean, I couldn't even understand anyone. I totally didn't think about the fact that they have a different language. And I had never seen a person of different color in my life before. When I went to the grocery store, I remember this time when I went there and there was this aisle of toilet paper. And I thought, well, how do people choose all this toilet paper? We only had this gray recycled newspaper. It was so hard to use. And then, there's all these choices of with teddy bears on them and multiple, anyway. Yeah, I was like, I don't know what to do here. And it was all these obstacles that kept coming my way. It was nothing like what I imagined, but as I kept going, I found these people that they started to mentor me and help me. It wasn't the kids in 5th grade, believe me, because they made fun of me like nobody's business. But it was then at 18, 19, people mentored me and helped me. And I thought, you know what? I don't need to live that life. I could live this life. And I worked for these 2 women that were these successful entrepreneurs. And I thought, oh my God, this is what I want one day. And I just had that vision again. And I thought, I'm not going to stop until I get this. And then I ended up here at Producers Club. And when I got on that dashboard, it was like that toilet paper aisle all over again. I thought, oh my God, I'm never going to get away from this. Choices and choices, hence the boat of marketing. We had to start implementing everything, but you do end up finding what works for you and what makes you successful. So I always want to be true to myself and to our company and having that vision. And I have this picture here of, there was a recent article written about me in the Chicago Sun-Times, and my parents saw it, and they were so proud of me. My mom cleans houses for a living. My dad's in construction, and I never imagined to go from the life I had, which wasn't much, to where I am today. So Robin and Jeff, my hat goes off to you for being my captain.
Oh, right. There you go. I'm like Captain Stubing.
Captain Scooby.
Yeah.
And Jeff.
Stubing.
And
Stubing.
Jeff, you're not here. You're somewhere back there. Jeff
Yes.
for my co-captain, because Jeff's
give me
helped me so much
hat
along
hair,
the way. And just I want to, two things.
Does this look cute?
Yeah, that looks really cute on you.
Is it really
yeah,
cute?
yeah. The red hair
Yeah?
really brings
No?
it out. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good
I
hat.
probably look like a total dork. Yeah, look at me. I'm like a dork. Okay.
Okay, I'll wear Jeff's hat. That's
Okay,
fine.
wear
Okay, I don't want to leave you stranded.
Yes.
So I look like a bigger dork with a blue dress, and yeah. This doesn't work. But yeah, and then just, again, having people who have mentored me in this program, because when I started, I had just a few employees, break and fix, desperate, and this community has really helped me and you and Jeff and the whole team to get to this point that I had never imagined. And my accountability groups, I've been in 3 of them, and they're just all been amazing. So I'm super grateful and humble, and I would love to be the spokesperson to give back and mentor the way people have mentored me. That was really special for me and helped me get to this place.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll put this. Let me put this here.
All right, I'll take it.
All right. Thank you, my dear. All right. Awesome. Well done. All right. And last but certainly not least, Conrad.
From
Lucky
Boston,
7.
Massachusetts. His company went from 0 to $62,162 a month of recurring revenue. That's $745,944 for the year. Please welcome Conrad,
right.
Zero No More
Hey.
Martin, CEO of the Tech Advisors.
Say whatever you'd like.
Right. Well, what's funny about Conrad, like literally when he I'll let him tell the story, but yeah, I mean, just you tell the story. I mean, 0, you didn't even know what MRR was, to now doing over 62,000 a month.
I'm just worried about my past clients that were CPA clients. I'm like, you don't know MRR? What kind of CPA are you?
Right.
I didn't know what MRR was. We had joined Robin in October of 2014 and quickly got into an accountability group. Thank you, group. And they were using the terminology MRR, and I'm like, I'm a CPA, I should know these acronyms.
Right.
I didn't know the acronyms. So I swallowed my pride. Some of you have heard this story, and I asked what MRR was, and they said it's monthly recurring revenue. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's no big deal. We don't do that. And And I was quickly taught why we should do that, and that we could actually take care of the whole health of the network as opposed to taking care of symptoms.
Because you were selling against that, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
Like
we
you
sold
go in
against
and
them.
sell IT and say, no, you don't want to do MRR.
My brother and I, my brother's a CPA, we started the company together, and we treated the company like a CPA firm would. So we went in, and so many hours we spent, and that's what we billed for. And the problem with that is you're taking care of symptoms. You're not taking care of the health of the network or the health of the patient. So with my accountability group, I was taught how to take care of the health of the patient, and I created MRR plans. And then I was told by my brother that I couldn't sell them to our existing clients. And it made sense because they were already paying us.
Right.
And he didn't want us to mess it up. So I had to go find leads, I had to go find prospects, and I had to go convert them to clients. Does that sound familiar to anybody here?
Yeah. So all that was brand new.
All that was brand new. So January 1st of 2015, we didn't have any monthly recurring revenue, not $1 of monthly recurring revenue. And we ended the year with $62,241 of monthly recurring revenue in 1 year.
All right, very good. Yeah. And again, all net new clients. I mean, for most people, they're going to go back to existing clients and sell them. Your brother was not having it. So
My brother was not having it at all.
Right.
So but it meant that we had to start implementing the campaigns and getting our leads together, getting our lists together, and really finding a way. And we started small. We didn't start with 1,000 names and 1,000 emails. We started with 50 and then 100 and 150, and we'd go to, we take care of a lot of CPA firms, so we'd go to their events and we'd collect that information and put it into our database and start mining it.
And right. So I, like all the other contestants I've been asking, what's the one cash in the bank idea? So what's something you're going to share with the audience that they can take home and make some bank on?
So what you're seeing up on the screen right now is the monthly recurring plans. We call them technology advisors, monthly IT support plans. And we built 3 levels of them, the silver, the gold, the platinum. We really want to sell the gold. And so this is a one-page slick with the front and the back, and the back has the platinum and gold plan highlights. So I used that, I would put that in front of the prospect, and I would say to them, look, this is how you really should have IT. This is how it should be managed. It takes care of the whole health. And these are some of the highlights of our all-inclusive plans. So I would get them to say, wow, that's great. I really want this. And then I would turn the sheet over. And sometimes I'd put the dollar amounts in. Sometimes I wouldn't. And I'd say, these are the plans. So they're gravitating either to silver or gold, but I want them to sign soon. So if you look in the platinum section, there's a CIO level where we go out and we write written information security programs to get our clients into compliance. We did 26 seminars for the Massachusetts Society of Certified Public Accountants on compliance.
Okay.
So we were pretty versed in it. So I offer to give that to them for free. We go through the checklist, we create the written information security program, because now it's done. We've got it. We just have to change some of the parameters, the names, et cetera. And by the way, all this is up on the dashboard. It's all for you to be able to download and use. So that's really the cash piece that we put together that helped us close. We went on we had 70 prospects, 50 appointments, and we closed 16 of them. So it worked, and it's still working. We're still growing with it.
Right.
That slide you're seeing now is because we did other things. We implemented a lot of the campaigns, or the ones that we could handle in 1 year's time, and at one point we did Google AdWords, and with Google AdWords, we put it in place. We Robinized our website, so we had Pronto, and we didn't get a lot going on. We had a lot of visits and nothing going on. So
is that the Google
that's
ad?
after we called you and you gave us a coaching. You looked at our website and you said, okay, change. Now this was already done by Pronto, and they do a great job. But we weren't understanding exactly how to make it so that it would get utilized and get hits.
Got it, okay.
And once we had a phone call with Robin within the next week, the phone calls started coming in, the hits started coming in, and then it was time to start capitalizing on them, turn them into leads. Another thing we put up on the dashboard is our introduction letter. It just made it so much easier to send a letter to the lead, not to the prospect, but to the lead. That's the first touch, so that they can understand who we are and what we're trying to do, and we put the highlights of our MRR in that letter. And then if we could get them into be a prospect by getting an appointment with them, we'd send them the shock and awe.
Okay, very good. All right. So now you've closed all this new business. Is your brother going to let you sell managed services to your existing clients now? Are you allowed?
So my brother's watching us right now, so hi, Kev.
Let the man sell, please. I mean, come on.
So what happened with my brother is that he was cautious. He doesn't want to ruin the business that we already had. In November of 2015, Kevin came to Allison, my office manager and marketing person, and myself, and said, okay, how do we convert our clients over to the MRR? So he's got a mind shift that he's ready to go, and so we've actually put in our quarterly business reviews, that's part of the agenda that we sit and meet with our clients about, look, there's a better way to do this, and it's more complete for you, and it's more complete for us, and we can staff it better. We can put the resources behind you better if we get a commitment. We want them to share the responsibility of their network with us, but they've got to sign on for the plans.
Right. And I actually see a good sales letter there where it could be, my brother fought me for a year, but he's finally seen the light that this is better for you.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. So we got a couple more. What else can you share with the audience of things that you've done that have helped you close that much MRR?
So a couple of things. We didn't join Producers Club until October of 2014. We were apprentice. So we sat back there with all the people back there, and we looked at the plans, and we looked at the book, and it was overwhelming because we needed some help. And that help comes definitely from Robin, but it comes from your accountability group. And that accountability group helped us stay in track when we put together the different campaigns. We put the newsletter together. It goes out regularly. It goes out in print format. We put the tech tips together. And it's easy. I mean, I know it looks difficult because you're looking at something, like she just said, a wall of toilet paper, and there's so much there.
Right.
But if you just start and say, okay, let's get the newsletter going, let's get tech tips going, all of a sudden, to the general public, you become a real business. You become really seen and visible. One other thing we did, we won the 50 fastest growing businesses in Massachusetts just recently, just a week or so ago. We were 47. But one other thing we did is we had a...
You should have wore a little pin that said, I love MRR. Just saying. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Yeah.
And Kevin should have a question mark.
Yeah, right, exactly. right.
But we had an anniversary party, so we invited a lot of our clients and prospects. And before that party, we were on the conversation with, we called Robin and just said, this is what we're doing. What do you think? And she said, if you're going to do something and spend the money, you've got to have some way to sell something from the stage. And we ended up talking to two state representatives and one state senator who came to the party with citations, and they presented them to us. All that got photographed and got into the papers, so we got a lot of PR out of it, and we got 2 clients out of it. So, you know, it's great to get that resource from Robin and your accountability group to help you find ways that if you're going to do something anyway, you might as well try to make it a sales process.
Okay. Got a couple more minutes left. Any other little nuggets of wisdom for maybe some of the people in the back just getting started with the marketing?
Yes, you know, like I said, it's overwhelming. I think you've seen that theme through all 7 of us, that it is overwhelming when you first get started. We just got started, and we've had a great success, and it's because we were determined to make something change. And I think the best thing to do for the people in the back that are thinking about getting into the Producers Club is talk to us. Come talk to the Producers Club. I think you're going to find a lot of value. That's what we did. We talked and said, this makes sense, we're going to give it a shot. And by doing that, it put us in a position to really ramp up our sales. I mean, we increased sales almost $750,000 in 1 year.
Wow.
So it works. You just don't get overwhelmed by what you're doing. The newsletter is a no-brainer. The tech tips is a no-brainer. Start looking at some of the campaigns. We're starting to implement the Godfather campaign and the Bad Date letter because, as you've heard from the others that have been up here, those things work. And don't change them, because Robin doesn't like them if you change them, so leave them the way they are.
Well, I don't like the phone call that it didn't work, and then they followed it, you know, you look and it's all changed. That's the call I don't like.
Right,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
exactly. So
yeah.
So
Okay.
that, I think the thing is that if you're going to be here, you're going to be in The Apprentice, make sure that you're really looking at a focused view of where you're trying to get to, and I think that you'll find some campaigns and things like that out there that are going to help you immediately. They'll help establish you as a real company and a growing company.
It's kind of like walking into a gym. There's all this equipment, and there's classes, and there's free weights, and there's treadmills, and there's all these things, and you're kind of like, oh, you know, most people just you just pick something, you know?
Something.
It just pick something and do it.
And don't get overwhelmed by the people that are in the gym already working out and have been there for a year or two.
Yeah.
And we just came in, and it's doable. You just have to go in and be confident enough to say, hey, we're going to get this done.
Okay.
So.
Anything else?
No.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Conrad.
All right. Great. Thanks.
All right.
See ya.
Great job. Great job. Okay. All right, so stay seated. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get into voting. Remember, so you have your sheets in front of you, right? 1 vote per attendee, please. The people who are watching virtually, please make sure, thank you, make sure that you are only doing 1 vote. Please do not send the text voting to anybody outside of boot camp. All right? Please don't do that. The other thing is, do not add any additional letters like Conrad's a badass, 116131. Like, don't, if you add any other additional letters or numbers, it won't calculate. So all I want you to do is go text to that phone number, 650-600-9016. Write down the number for the person that you'd like to vote for, and with your phone still on silent, make sure, or St. Jude mode is I like that. So make sure you go ahead and text your vote. I'll give you a minute there. While you're doing that, I'll just mention Darren Hardy has his session tonight. Darren was the editor-in-chief of Success Magazine for many years. He just recently stepped down from that position. And it's really a good session tonight. You want to make sure you get back for that. We are having a cocktail, happy hour right after this, and myself and the finalists will be there. So if you have questions for them, if you'd like to talk to them, by all means, make sure you attend that as well. So right now, does everyone have those? Does anyone else need a little more time to write that down? Raise your hand if you need it. Everyone's got it? Give you another second there. Be quick. All right. So the judges now, they're going to go off, and the judges that were in the room, they're going to go off and discuss who they think should win. We're going to be tallying up the text votes. So while they're doing that, I just want to take a quick moment to talk about the Producers Club and extend an invitation to those of you who are thinking about joining, because we've been just getting a ton of questions about it. And this might not be for everybody. This might not be for you. This might not be the time. And if it's not, that's fine. But if you're looking to say, look, it's time for us to step up, we really want to implement, I want to participate in that, I'm just going to take a couple minutes to talk about it, tell you what it is, tell you why people join. We're not doing a heavy pitch. I'm not handing out order forms or anything. I'm just going to talk about it and answer some questions we have coming in. So if you turn to the Producers Club tab in your workbook, there's some information there. There's an invitation. The letter will outline more about what I'm going to talk about. So if you want to read about it a little bit more, that is in there as well. But the main thing I like to start out and tell you is the reason I created the Producers Club. And this picture, which I didn't design, I found it online somewhere, summarizes it perfectly. Because you're right, it is looking at an overwhelming number of marketing campaigns, and no matter how many campaigns I seem to give people, they just couldn't seem to, some people just couldn't seem to get it implemented. So I created the Producers Club, and it's really two things. It is a mastermind group of your peers. This is a very smart, ambitious group of people who work together to find shortcuts. They share strategic advantages, breakthroughs, answers to tough problems to accelerate their success. But mostly, guys, this is an implementation program. When you join Producers Club, we don't give you even more marketing to implement. It is to help you implement the tools that you already have in the toolkit. Plus, we do some of it for you. Like we have a Done For You book, and we have a Done For You website, and there's a Done For You newsletter. So some of it we actually do for you, as well as help you implement. So I don't want you for 1 minute thinking, I'm overwhelmed, I got to get some stuff. This program is an implementation program designed to help you get out of procrastination and get started. So the results have been pretty damn good, actually. If you look at the average Producers Club member in the last 3 years, the results were as follows. The average Producers Club member in the last 3 years has had a 213% increase in sales. So just to give you an idea, if they were only doing $250,000 in sales, that's an increase of $532,000, putting you at $782,000. Now that 250 is a small number, and I don't want you thinking that Producers Club is all itty-bitty companies, because they're not. You saw some of the people up here. They're running very successful, fast-growing companies, and some are startups, some are small. It's a really kind of interesting mix. The average Producers Club member in the last 3 years had a 262% net profit increase and a 285% managed recurring revenue, MRR, increase as well. Now, I want to make sure you guys know I am no way guaranteeing those results or saying you're going to get those results. I would never be that obnoxious to even assume that I could guarantee, join my program and get rich quick. That's not what this is. But I'm just sharing with you, this is just purely a statistical observation of what I've seen from the members who have joined. So this program really is ideal for you. If you've been able to secure some level of success, but you feel stuck or growth has been coming too slow, if you want someone to hold you accountable to implement the things you know you should be doing, but you just never seem to get done, maybe you just want to tap into the knowledge and the expertise of a broader audience so you can figure out things like compensation plans and dealing with how do you structure your offering? How do you price your offering? What vendors do you work with? Because there's two ways to learn things. Tony Robbins taught me this a long time ago. One is the school of hard knocks and figure it out on your own, and the other one is modeling. And so this is a really good strategy, guys. If you ever want to figure out how to do something in your business or to do something in life, find somebody who's already successful and model what they do. That's it. So if you want to, it doesn't matter if it's in business, you want to learn how to sell managed recurring revenue, go sit with Conrad and talk to him and figure out the steps he did and model what he did. If you want to be a great parent, find somebody who's already a great parent with awesome kids and ask them what they do. Model success. It's something Tony Robbins taught me years ago. It seems so obvious, yet it's amazing to me how many business owners never get outside their four walls, never talk to their peers, and they suffer alone, struggling with things that people have solved over and over and over again. All right? And also, the program's ideal if you want more access to me and my team in helping you to implement. So I'm going to give you a really high-level brief brush over the top of what you get as a Producers Club member when you enroll. So first of all, for those of you who are Apprentice Club members, You get all the Apprentice Club benefits, so it's not in addition to your Apprentice Club, it is inclusive of. You get bigger discounts on programs, you get all the membership things that we give you as an Apprentice Club member, the Q&A calls, the how-to calls. You get access to the Producers Club member site and directory, so there's a whole section of the dashboard that's new material that's open to you. And then you get first rights to campaigns. You know, like you heard people, we were talking about the cybersecurity seminar and the security tips and stuff like that. All of those things are inclusive. There's actually 3 new campaigns that we are going to give you as part of this. One is, again, the cybersecurity seminar in a box. I heard that the cybersecurity panel room, they actually had to turn some of you away, so I'm sorry about that. We actually did audio record it, so I'll make it available. Everybody here will get the audio recording of that. I'm sorry, we didn't anticipate that kind of demand. But the cybersecurity seminar in a box is a Producers Club member benefit, and you get that when you join. The other thing is the cybersecurity weekly email tip. This is something we gave to our members so that they're sending out every week just a little simple text email that is a cybersecurity tip. And this is an example of one I just grabbed Chris Traxler. Where are you, Chris? I know he's here. There he is. Dude, I'm on your list. So I copied and pasted. So anyway, working okay for you, I guess? Pretty good. Yeah, thumbs up. And, we got this email recently from Willie Kearns. Willie, where are you? He's in here somewhere. There he is. Just wanted to give you an update on the security tip email series. These have been an extraordinary way to connect with clients and employees. We regularly receive replies with questions about the tip and managing security. Our tips have a 97% open rate, higher than any other email campaigns we're doing. And so they're building their list. It's basically a weekly security tip reminder. There's no sales in it whatsoever. It's pure content, but it's been a really big home run for you to send to clients and prospects for positioning, for engagement, and so forth. Now, the other campaign that we just launched and gave is a cartoon postcard drip. And I don't have any numbers to share with you, and for all of you Producers Club members, you ought to be using this. And it's a postcard where it has a funny cartoon on one side and just a little reminder. So this is sort of like a tech tip postcard, but just a funny one. So you can see in this one, it might be hard to read. It's a guy, looks like he's in the Amazon or something, and there's a savage there with heads on sticks, and the caption says, Elizabeth, because you can personalize these. We picked up a virus. Fortunately, we had everything backed up on memory sticks, and there are people's heads on. Anyway, so it's not meant to be but it's funny. It's a little unique. I mean, when you get a postcard with a cartoon, you read it. It's memorable. It's funny, and there's a whole series of those. The funny one is this one. In the top corner there, it says, I'm a victim of a cyber attack, and the other guy's running out, and he says, I'm a victim of a fiber attack, and he's running to the back. So it was funny because Rich got that, and he's like, I don't get it. So Jeff told me that, Rich. It was funny. Yeah. All right, so you get all of that. You get a done-for-you newsletter service. It's included. There's 9 different templates. If you want a custom template, we'll make it happen for you as a Producers Club member. There's a done-for-you book template. You just literally fill in the blanks, go through it. Most of the work is done. It's not 100% done. And you're welcome to build it out and elaborate. You don't just have to use it as is. You can use the pieces and components of it, but it's all completely turnkey. You also get the online shock and awe tool. This is an actual website that you can spin up. You literally go into the dashboard, you put your prospect's name in, you can spin up a personalized shock and awe box that is all electronic. The website is a personalized URL to your client or prospect, as the case would be. You can just with your iPhone or you just shoot a little video of yourself. And it's a personalized message. Hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you on Thursday. On this website, some information about us. You could have your testimonial book up there. You can have the book up there, copies of your newsletter, all these things. And this you can, literally, the first one's the hardest one. It'd take you maybe 30 minutes for the first one, and after that, you just copy them. You can also resell this as a Producers Club member because you're going to get people asking you for it. You get a done-for-you website. We use Pronto and Vertical. It's all of our content is up there, monthly tech tip emails. We've got, I don't know, Jeff, how many landing pages do we have at this point? It's about 53, and we're always, so new landing pages with campaigns, that's all included here. Google Analytics, unlimited changes, so you can change, and this is included. This is not extra. This is included with your membership, and you get help from us in converting your website to more visitors, like you just saw Conrad. You get a phone call with me, and you can have a couple with me. If you're struggling, I mean, it's not just one. We can talk, and we can help you get that fixed. So this is an email from Charles Henson. Last year, we had 12 new clients that came directly from finding us online. Jeff, our website changes are off the charts. We're now able to track visitors to leads and leads to clients, and are experiencing a much higher conversion rate in the past year. This alone has brought in 12 new clients directly coming from finding us online. Just the MRR lifetime agreements that have come in are worth over $133,000. So you get the website. It's included. It's not extra, all right? You get quarterly 2.5 business strategy and marketing days. That's what we do. The first day is a freshman academy, and the freshman academy is with me, and we go over basics. The first day is purely workshop intense, going over basics, and then the next day is usually new. We usually have a celebrity speaker. We'll have golden comb presentations like you saw, a little bit more extensive than the presentations you saw here. You and your staff can participate. We virtual stream it. So if you want your sales and marketing team watching and involved, they can get involved. We also have celebrity speakers. There's Michael Oher, the only one up there you might not recognize. Michael Oher in the upper left corner. He's the guy the movie The Blind Side was written about. Steve Forbes, Tony Horton, Robert Herjavec. You know, we have some really awesome people. Mike Wolf from American Pickers. Some of you might watch that show. We've had all these. And coming to Q3 and Q4 meetings, good news, Producers Club members, we got Kevin O'Leary. He's going to come back, and he is going to do hot seats, like, you know, so it's going to be really cool, like we did with Herjavec. We're going to do with Kevin O'Leary. He's going to do an intense half day with some of you. And then for the Q4 meeting, we're going to have General Stanley McChrystal come in and talk to you about building teams. And I know there's, if you know who he is, he's badass. He's going to be an amazing speaker. So those are coming to the meetings. The other thing is you get access to me and the team. And if I could have Rich and Jeff, and I don't know if Jennifer, I know Jennifer's running the virtual stream. Why don't you guys just come up here and stand up here? I want you to see, these are the people that you're going to be working with. And both Rich and Jennifer came from they were clients, so they came from that experience. They're going to be in the cocktail reception tonight. So guys, go up to them and talk to them as well. They're here to coach you. What were you doing? Don't touch my wine, all right? Very hurtful, all right? So we don't have a mic, so you can just wave and smile, right? You know, and just do the... Right? Okay. I just wanted to give them a visual. Okay. They're real people, right? And you also get assigned to a senior hand-selected member who mentors you. And I'll tell you, the Producers Club members, not everybody wants to be a captain, but a lot of them love being captains. They love helping the guys that are new and getting things implemented. They learn new ideas, so it's a really good system. And you get a senior hand-selected member who mentors you throughout the process. We have this thing called accountability groups. And accountability groups are groups of 8 to 12 members who get together and they meet on a regular basis. And we don't just have it for you, the owner. We have the marketing managers accountability groups. We've got several of them. We've got operations. We've got a wives group. I have no idea what the hell they get together and do. I just like saying that. Where's Wendy? She's like, hey, you know, I think it's mostly the abused wives club, you know, because they're usually doing all the marketing and the admin and the billing and the customer service. They're doing everything that the husband's not doing. But we have the wives group. We've got the sales group, cloud application developers group. So there's like not just for you, the CEO, but get your employees into these groups. They're going to get fresh new ideas. That is so valuable right there. And your accountability group is going to be one of the biggest benefits. I promise you, you hear people talk about it all the time. It really, truly is. And this was from Matthew, who said, and actually Matthew is he in the UK? Am I correct? Canada, sorry. Sorry. Hey, I got a lot of members. It's kind of hard keeping y'all straight, okay? The accountability groups are the most valuable aspect of the club, knowing I'm not alone in trying to build the best IT services company while struggling with day-to-day activities, actually, and he said strangely feels good. I just had to fit it on a slide. So I've built strong relationships, and I stay in touch with several members on a daily basis. And so talk to the members up here, they'll tell you that. The other cool thing new this year is I'm bringing in Andy Bailey. Andy Bailey is a Rockefeller Habits coach. He's actually Vern's business partner that runs the software side of the Rockefeller Habits. And Andy's the one that comes in and facilitates quarterly meetings for my company. So I have been using him for a year now. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't bringing somebody to you that I didn't use myself. He's been phenomenal. So he's going to be coming in, and he is going to be helping you implement the Rockefeller Habits for Growth. If you guys aren't familiar with that, everybody in this room needs to listen to Vern. There's several audio sessions up on the dashboard with Vern. The best material I have ever seen, bar none, for fast, profitable, sane growth. Additional bonuses, if you're accepted, you'll be receiving the BDR in a Box program, the Cloud Integrator Blueprint. There is a 2-day Quick Start Freshman Academy that we have for those of you who are just joining, and that's going to be June 22nd and 23rd in Nashville. If you can't make that date, we have some other implementation programs to get you ramped up and up to speed very quickly. And there's also a Producers Club lunch this Saturday, and tomorrow evening we're doing a Star Wars themed kind of cocktail reception, so those are all benefits that you're going to get. I know this is going to overwhelm you, right? I should take this slide out, but there's even more resources. So the CEO and operations resource library, there's a whole sales training library, marketing manager and operations manager accountability groups and resource libraries for process documents. That's all available to you. There's free advertising, and Robin recommends some of our members sell their services to other members, and you can advertise in our newsletter, and you get the archive of all the previous meetings. And believe me, guys, there is some awesome content up there for sure. So some frequently asked questions. Do I have to be really successful to join? No, you don't. That's like saying you got to lose weight before you join a gym, right? You join a gym to lose weight, to get in shape. So all you have to have is a sincere and honest desire to want to improve. I love this quote here from Oliver. Oliver is in the UK. That's where I was thinking maybe. Where's Oliver? Is he? There he is, right there. There you go. You probably know the story about the toolkit. Didn't implement it. Went to boot camp, joined Producers Club, then bam, success. Looking back, the education I got over the first month in Producers Club was worth its weight in gold. Quite literally, in 3 months, we've generated 24 leads, more than all in 2015 total. So very good results. What if someone else in my area is in the Producers Club? It's not a problem. There's so many resources, and we manage the resources. It'll be just fine. We'll put you in separate accountability groups. And I like this quote from Scott Spiro. He said there was another MSP that joined Producers Club that is not only a competitor, but a competitor who was in the same office building I was in. When they joined, I was really upset, but it has not negatively impacted him at all. In fact, I think they hang out together, so it's really not a big deal. There's more opportunity out there, guys. Don't have a scarcity mindset. If you focus on your customers and focus on getting your marketing implemented, don't worry about what your damn competition's doing. Get the marketing done. It's the implementation of ideas that gets results. Mott grew his company by implementing fundamentals. Not by shiny new pennies, not by worrying about focusing on his customers, building a good team. That's what wins in business. So don't get too upset and worried, who knows this? They have that campaign. In the long run, it's not important. It really isn't. Where are the meetings? They're in Nashville. We are doing the January meeting in Orlando. I don't know if you guys got that. I know you're excited about that, right? Nice, sunny, warm. Well, it'll be warmer than Nashville. And we're going to do a tie-in with the Disney Institute, so Producers Club. We're going to do something with the Disney Institute, which is going to be amazing, right? That's in January. But outside of that, they're in Nashville. You can bring up to 2 additional people to the meetings and 1 additional guest to boot camp. And again, everything is live streamed. So real time. You could be sitting there in the Producers Club meeting, laptop up, chatting with somebody back home about the content that you're both watching without them having to come here, okay? Sue said that, where's Sue Brum? Where is Sue? So you guys can't tell. I can't see a damn thing with these lights. There you go. Okay, like I'm a little bit blind. Coming to the meetings, I'm constantly amazed by the willingness of others to sit down and share with us what's been successful or not successful with their business. Whatever we've been able to share with others, I know we've received at least a 10 times return, and it shows in our bottom line results. Is this an additional cost to my apprentice club? No, it is all included. It's not extra. And I've used this slide now several years, Dave. And where's Dave sitting now? Because, yeah, your wife should be really happy this year, right? For 5 years, every time we got the apprentice credit card charge, my wife would say, is this an expense that's paying off? And I kept saying yes, but until last year, she never believed me. We signed up for Producers Club, and one of the happiest days of my career was when we were running year-end numbers, and Leslie came to me and said, this managed services thing is really looking good. You must be doing something right. High praise indeed. So, hey, if we can make your wives happier, that's just an added bonus. No, I don't put that in my guarantee. I can't make your wife happy, but we will try, through getting you to make more money. So what if I just bought the toolkit or the blueprint? Should I join? Well, if getting results fast is important to you, that's fine. The only thing, here's what I'll say. I belong to a gym, and I've got tapes like exercise tapes that I work out at home with. When I'm busy, I'll just go into my gym in my house and I'll do it. And you know what? I'm disciplined and I'm motivated enough that I'll do the workout. But I'll tell you this, anytime I've gone to the gym and gone to a class where I know people and they're challenging me, especially when you start building that camaraderie, I work out twice as hard. Without a doubt, I'm telling you. So if you're the kind of person that can get there, you've got the toolkit. Like the toolkit, there's nothing held back. You've got the tools you need. But if you need help implementing, that's when you join Producers Club. All right. And Jason Penka, Jason, where are you? Jason here? Maybe somewhere. I thought he was here. Maybe he's raising his hand, I don't see. I thought I needed to start with the toolkit, then move to Producers Club once I had that master, but being part of the Producers Club truly forces you to implement the toolkit and get results. I wish I had just started with Producers Club. One other thing, a question we get, and this will be the last question, I'm really busy and overwhelmed. Should I wait to join? Should I wait till things calm down, till I hire that tech, till I hire a salesperson, till I get them? So again, it's not a more to-do program, it's an implementation program. And I hope you're not saying I'm going to wait to implement marketing, because you got to get that going. So let me just show a video of what our Producers Club members have said, and I think this says it best.
Before I joined the Producers Club, our marketing was a little pedestrian.
It's not necessary to have the toolkit mastered before you come into Producers Club. Producers Club is what helps you master the toolkit.
I think a common misconception a lot of small business owners have is I have to have everything done before I really get started. Go be with other like-minded peers and just get started.
I was at a point where I needed to grow.
I was still a one-man shop at the time.
And I saw all of these companies that were much bigger than me.
But I'm proof that you can do it if you're a one-man band. I've grown, I've got 8 employees now, and it's because of Robin.
I'm not very good at really just sitting down and doing the work and going through the toolkit. And by coming and joining Producers Club is a much easier way for me to learn.
Joining the Producers Club made it easier to digest the information and actually use it.
I wish I would have just started with the Producers Club.
I had a lot of pushback. So when you have a vision and you have a goal and you have a dream, you got to sometimes know in your heart this is what you feel and you know it's the right thing.
The accountability groups gives you time to get to know people on a more personal level and really dive deeper into how you're actually doing your marketing.
You know, when I'm having a bad week or something bad's going on or I miss a deal and don't get it, you know, they do a good job of helping me debrief and figure out what I missed in our process.
The value that I get from talking to other business owners, and they know what I get to go through every day because they go through it too.
Every time I come away from these meetings, there's something new, something valuable that helps me improve my business.
There's nowhere else, no other group that we're all going to get together, we're going to share numbers, we're going to share ideas.
We tripled the number of leads we had before.
It has
taught me invaluable skills.
Being able to put processes in place that allow me ultimately increase our revenue and our profit.
It's those people that I get to talk with, share with, and that help me grow my business.
The people that I've met and the friends that I've made and the community as a whole. Because when you're really having trouble and you're really up against the wall and you've just kind of reached that point where you can't get past yourself, you're going to have a great group of people that you can reach out to get help. And that's what we really all need.
I was scared that it wouldn't be worth the investment.
It was a lot of money to invest. I made the leap and my business has grown significantly since.
It has more than paid for itself.
The course and the Producers Club paid for itself within 1 month.
We've signed in just the last 4 months more managed services agreements than we did in the entire previous year.
So the investment was big, but it has paid off in a word that I can't think of.
Ever since I joined Producers Club, my business has been growing 30 to 60% a year.
It's really launched our business. Amazing.
Phenomenal.
Just absolutely incredible.
Game changer for my business.
You will definitely get results.
So that's pretty amazing. You know, Joel said something really interesting. He talked about footprints. And, when I see that video, I started the Producers Club, just because I wanted a good business. I wanted to grow, I wanted to make money, but it's become so much more than that. And it really, I think the culture we've built and the community we've built is something that when my last day on earth will be something I will look back on with great pride at the people that are in this program, and I sincerely mean that. It's been amazing to have everybody come together and support each other, and with a common goal of being better, of contributing, of doing better, because you can't fix the world with broken hands. If you are struggling, you can't give back to your family, you can't give back to your community, you can't give back to your customers, you can't give back to your employees. And so this program is really about, I'm not trying to jam a sales letter down your throat. It's about saying, look, there is a community here that is willing to help you. And if you feel that you could be part of this, then be part of it. And come into it with, what not only are you going to get, but come into it with the mindset of what are you going to give? Because the giving is what really makes you feel good. And the giving is what's going to multiply you on levels that I can't even begin to say. So I could summarize everything, go through it, but there's a lot of things that we give you as a resource for Producers Club. If we totaled it all up, I'm sure it would be well over $73,000. You just put a number on it. But the tuition is $16,467. If you want it, you can save 1 month if you want to pay in full, and some people do. Put it on the credit card, take the miles, the bonus points, or you can do month to month. That's up to you. Now, one thing I want to tell you, and this is not BS, guys, this is the honest to God truth. You see how big this community has come. We're actually getting very near capacity. So this may be the last time we're opening up to this many members. Again, one of the constraints, you don't even think about this, is hotel space. You have no idea how difficult it is to get hotel space to fit everybody. So we really are very close to capacity. So here's what I'd suggest for those of you in the back who are thinking about, there's an application in the Producers Club section, and we are looking to accept 65 members. We've already enrolled, I'm not sure the number because they're coming in, but I think we've already enrolled somewhere around 20 members who have already pre-enrolled. So that number's less than 65. So fill in the application, give it to Jeff, give it to Rich, give it to me, give it to Jennifer, give it to one of my team. They will give you a red wristband. And handing in the application does not mean that you are committing to anything. It's just saying, hey, I'm interested in, and we look at these. I review every single one of them. I promise you, I will look at every single one of them, and we have a conversation. Jeff or Rich or Jennifer will have a conversation to make sure this is right for you as well as it's right for us. And then we're going to give you that wristband, and we want you to come to the Producers Club cocktail reception, and we want you to talk to these members. Don't talk to us, ask them. What's it like being a member? What's the real deal? Find out if it's for you by doing that. So hand in your application. If you're virtual, the URL is robinsproducersclub.com/application. So even the virtual people can participate. But go ahead and fill that in and do it today. You want to get your application in because if you want to party with Darth, to get the red wristband. Again, it's not committing you in any way, shape, or form, but get the red wristband and come talk to our members and see if that's a right fit. So that application is in your binders.